Hey guys, this is Sergeant Blankenship. We're still in our active shooter series. Today we're talking about post one, exercise one. A couple of the objectives that we want to hit: who responds, where does one alpha put themselves, and controlling in and outbound. None of this has to be exercise driven. It can all be verbal. So we just need to have that conversation with our people. For that assessment run, all we can do is just pose the questions. Pose the questions. Don't give them any outlook. Don't give them any answers. Just start asking the questions and start evaluating where they're at and where their head is at. Eventually, what we want to do is push them to the objectives or the ideas that I'm going to throw out to you, right? So who responds? As it relates to post one, we should be getting an answer of post one is responding, and post one alpha is that good support, right? Now, that will lead us into where does post one put themselves, right? Because that's a big question. And we don't really have to worry about post one because it's just an initial response. They're just going to make that approach and hit the doors, right? But now as post one, where do we put ourselves? And in this instance where there's an active shooter in building 400, last known location, the command post, if we have that gate shack right here, obviously building 400 is all right here. Do we want, as post one or one alpha, do we want to stay in the gate shack? And my answer would be no, right? You're starting to limit your ability to have your situational awareness, right? And if my threat is coming from over here, I want the ability to maintain security, and I want the ability to lay down fire if I need to, but also the ability to move. If I keep myself in the gate shack, I don't have that ability to move anymore, right? So if I'm one alpha, I'm actually probably going to take myself out, and I'm probably going to put myself right here, somewhere in that little garden area. If I really want to, I can actually put myself out here right in line with the inbound and outbound gates. So one, I have complete situational awareness of everything that's going on around me, but I also have the immediate ability to move behind pretty good cover, but I also have the immediate ability to do my job, which is open up these gates for inbound traffic, right? So if we're talking about who responds, obviously post one is going to respond to the active shooter. One alpha is going to stay as support. Now, where does one alpha want to put themselves? What we eventually want to push out is they want to be somewhere outside of this gate shack, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be here, but they need to articulate, hey, I want the ability to move, and I also need the ability to look at my surroundings and do my job. As long as they hit all those things, they can be really wherever they want, right? As long as it makes sense. Now let's talk about controlling inbound and outbound traffic. For this situation where the active shooters in building 400 in the command post, it would make sense for one alpha to stay here, right? Because of the angles that are presenting themselves. Not only does one have good eyes on the building, but he's also able to maintain traffic control pretty safely from here. But now we can even present it like this. Let's say the active shooter is in building 810, 800, somewhere along the annex. Would post one or one alpha want to stay here? Probably not, right? And you can present this to them in that kind of manner. We can just say, hey, just to get you guys thinking, what if there's an active shooter in 810 or 800? If it was 800 or 810, I would probably just go ahead and shut this completely down and actually relocate to the civilian fire department, because I need to start thinking, where is my support coming from? They're coming from the Serpentine, right? And they're going to be passing through right where the active shooter is. So we don't really want that. But that should cover all of these objectives, right? So who responds? Post one's going to respond. One alpha falls back as support. Where does one alpha put themselves? Again, this is where I would put myself as one alpha for this situation, but start opening up the conversation to other places on base. Controlling inbound and outbound traffic, again, we can do it from here in this situation, but it might differ if there's another situation or it's coming from a different building, right? So just opening up that school of thought to them. Again, let them answer the questions. Don't give them the answers. And something that we really need to harp on too is there's really no wrong answers. If we're saying that there's a wrong answer, we're insinuating that there are rules, and this is all principle based. If someone if you might think that someone gives you a wrong answer, but they're able to articulate why they did something, it's not necessarily wrong, right? There might be more efficient ways to do it, but just make sure that we're pushing that out, all right? If you guys have any questions, reach out to the training department.